help?
Maybe you can help us.
Dream on.
Wow, you picked up a great beat on your supercar stereo, Jazz.
You think of her, Spike? Well, let me rev up the decibels for you.
Yeah, get down.
I bet Optimus Prime will be glad to see us.
I would have waited an eternity for this. It's over, Prime. We are on a planet far from Cybertron, but our mission has not changed. One shall stand, one shall fall.
Dummy is still on fire safety. If you douse me again and I'm not on fire, I'm donating you to City College.
Well, let's go. What are you waiting for?
Greetings, trans fans, and I'm not talking about the little boys that play with dolls when they were kids. I'm talking about Transformer fans. Welcome to Transformers Collectors Club Australia. Thank you, Bill, and the rest of the hosts are...
I'm Jason.
I'm Daniel.
And I'm Bill.
I like the way Bill just brings in the rear there. He's just like, I'm Bill.
Hi, guys.
That was
It's a
brilliant.
funny boy.
I didn't read ahead, so that's as far as I got with that, but I'll cut all this out.
Oh.
Alright, so what's first on the list?
It said here you just been wanting to you wanted to focus on activities as well. So when you mean activities, you did and activities and working with other collection groups. Is it limited to just say OzNerd, TMNT, Collectors Club Australia, TCA, Realm of Collectors and stuff, or have you got others that you'd like to bring out?
That's just a list I sort of off the top of my head come up with. If there's others that we want to include, I'm more than happy to include them.
So if anyone wants to jump on our podcast, if you are from one of the aforementioned groups, or if you're from another group that we haven't mentioned because we haven't discovered you yet, then drop us a line, and if you want to come on and chat about stuff, we're more than happy to have a guest.
Yeah. Well, they're the main, or they're the other Australian groups that I'm members with that I know of.
Why don't we talk a little bit about ourselves, because this is really the first episode, unless someone goes and hunts down episode 0. So I don't know, Brad,
there's nothing about ourselves in episode 0. Sorry, people, but
there's lots of stuff. Anyway, Brad, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Name's Brad. I've really come back into collecting since the 07 movie, and sort of been playing catch up since. I've been wanting to do this podcast for a little bit now, and finally got up to doing it, getting online and get some guests on board to do it.
That's
and
us, guys.
That's you guys. Thank you. After last week doing the introductory episode, we're onto a winner here. Just we need to comb it in a little bit.
So this being episode 1, by the time people get their hands on it, there is going to be an episode 0 floating around the internet somewhere. It may not necessarily end up in your podcast feeds, but it's kind of a wild ride. We could say nightmare hell ride, but yeah, it's kind of fun.
Deep, dark part of the web, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Try and bury it as far as we can go.
Yeah. If there wasn't so much up to date, or not up to date, but current news and conversation on it, I'd normally leave it for a sort of an after dark episode. But because we do a bit of upcoming masterpiece chatter and a bit of the Combiner War stuff as well, and some Ultra Magnus stuff, masterpiece Ultra Magnus. It sort of needs to be out there now before that stuff gets too old.
For sure.
Takara released 3 masterpieces a year. It's not going to get that old.
No, 5 this year. It's going to get old quick.
So, hey, Daniel, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, there's not much to say. I'm just an all-round nerd, studying IT at university. I'm pretty much an avid cartoon fan. be it just like your American westernized cartoons or your Japanese anime or Korean anime, I find myself more prone to that. I started collecting Transformers when I was little, for obvious reason. I mean, who doesn't love transforming technology, cars,
Everyone
trucks,
likes Transformers.
planes, that sort of thing. And then sort of as I got older, I really decided that I didn't want to be an adult anymore. I wanted to be a kid. So Transformers is where it was at for me, I think. Plus, robots are cool. I think robots are awesome.
Agreed.
Yeah, who doesn't like robots as well? Except for that like T-1000 guy. But you know, he's kind of
and
a jerk.
that new Ultron just looks like shit.
Yes.
And what about you, Jason? How did you get dragged into this?
I am still trying to figure out how that happened. I'm a web developer by day. I collect Transformers and Android devices by night, and just generally I like to tinker around with nerdy and fun stuff. I don't really tinker that much. But you know, I consume. I read some comics. I don't read that many comics. But I hang around. I play a lot of this online game called Ingress, which is pretty cool fun. So that takes up a lot of my time. Other than hanging out on the TCCA Facebook group, you can also find me on Twitter, looking into some app development groups. I don't actually develop apps, but you know, I do look at apps that people have developed, and yeah, I also write for an Android website and just generally hang around Google+. So, Bill, what about yourself?
Pimp your podcast first.
Pimp my podcast. I thought I didn't offer that last
Pimp
time.
it.
I do. I also host the Ozdroid podcast. So that's ozdroid.net. If anyone is listening and is into Android stuff in Australia and around the world, you know, we talk about everything.
I wish I knew that now before I downloaded it. me being an
iOS fan.
Yeah, an avid Apple fan. I thought, Ozdroid. Yeah, it sounds like a pretty tech savvy group for Australia, and she's all Android. I did love the Google Glass. Yeah, I did love the Google Glass section from the last podcast, though. That was quite funny.
Yeah. Google Glass is actually really interesting, but that's off topic. So, Brad,
Bill,
brother Bill,
I think it's Bill's turn.
Good old Bill, Buffalo Bill.
Buffalo Bill. Sorry, I had visions of Silence of the Lambs for a second there.
I'll chew on your bubblegum nose.
Yeah, that too.
No, well, where do we start? I mean, love the franchise since I was a wee little bot. Typical 80s child. Grew up on Thundercats, He-Man, you know, Brave Star, Voltron, all the cool cartoons that kids these days are missing out on, basically.
Oh. Well, see, they're re-showing Voltron, which is really good, but it's just heaps late at night.
Nah, it's just not the same.
I think people get their fix of like Brave Star and Voltron and stuff like that now from Robot Chicken.
Yeah, well, that is a good point of reference.
They also they also have a lot of Transformers stuff in Robot Chicken too.
Yeah, agreed.
So you guys seen the Zybots one?
No.
On Robot Chicken?
Was that recent? Because I haven't seen Robot Chicken for ages.
Can't remember, to be honest. I think it might have been. But yeah, the Zybots. So, yeah, pretty much.
So like, I'm going to move us on a little bit. So this is a podcast, and we do expect listeners to listen to us for a little while. So it might be useful for listeners to know what other podcasts we listen to. So you know, you get a bit of an idea of our pedigree. So I don't know, Brad, you've got quite the list.
Agreed. I spend upwards of 10 to 12 hours in the truck a day, so I've got quite a lot of time to kill.
Right, this answers my question earlier. Before we started recording, I was wondering how you have time to do this all the time. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, and even that, say that 10 hours is just driving. Even when I'm unloading all those full voluptuous kegs to the politicians at Canberra.
And bottles of wine to New South Wales politicians.
Nah, not wine. Someone else does that. Unfortunately, because I'd love to grab a couple of bottles for myself. Yeah, I've got a lot of time to kill. And as you may know or have noticed recently, I'm on and off the group a fair bit. That if I wasn't doing this job, I don't think I'd be near as active on the group as I am. But yeah, some of the podcasts I enjoy listening to, Transformers related. Radio Free Cybertron, their weekly one I always download, and TFW. One of the old ones, or a couple of the old ones, the Team Bottomus Variety Hour and Canadian Slag with Optibottomus and Protoman. Transformers Addicts have just started up their Admins Unite, which really gave me a kick in the ass to get this one going. Transmissions is a good one with Charles and the boys over there. Pre-order 66, they're not as active as they were, but it's always good to when they get online. It's a good comedic collection podcast.
I think I came across Pre-order 66 the other day, actually, just some stuff happening on Twitter.
Yep. Yep. Soundwave's one of our resident YouTube reviewers, Kal-El Prime, or Chris from Frankston. He that podcast is sort of in hiatus at the moment until he can get a host. I've been trying to get on with him, but timings lining up and everything else. And then you got Screen Junkie Movie Fights now playing. Did I just drop out?
No, it'd be fine.
No, somewhat bit. Kevin Smith's Smodcast, that's a new one I've just picked up, and the after all the stuff leading up to Tusk, I've sort of got in with that. Rooster Teeth comedic podcast, and then of course you got the Flophouse, the greatest movie ever, which is sort of a look back at some of the older movies, along with Mass Movie Side. Friends in Your Head, or another podcast. It's a commentary podcast on sort of up to date movies, and those boys are sort of in the industry, and give it a little jiggle, you'll get good head. I heard that pouring into a cup. Yeah, anyway, I'll paraphrase here. And then I've got my favourites of Jurassic World podcast and the Gatecast, which I host on fairly frequently. I was on there at 5 a.m. this morning. Wow. doing a show with them. They're in the UK, so the timings really need to match up, and I'm alone in the house at 5 a.m, so it's a good time to record. And then Older Geek, Turtle Lair, Blame It On Outer Space, Science Sort of, the Sequest podcast, Film Junk, We Hate Movies, Oops All Movies, Mad About Movies.
I think this might actually be a list of every podcast ever.
Yeah, that's not even
close enough to it.
Yeah, that's not even all the ones that are on my iPad at the moment. So I'll leave it at that.
So my podcast interests skew way more tech than collect. So like, I listen to the Daily Tech News Show, and sometimes that's the only thing I get to listen to in a day, and that's like half an hour. Like I listen to something on the way to work and on the way home. Sometimes I go for a walk at lunchtime and listen to things. But yeah, so like other than that, like I listen to All About Android, sometimes the Vergecast, sometimes Tech News Today. But if you guys have never listened to Welcome to Night Vale, you should really check it out because it's quite funny. Yeah, you can catch me on my own podcast on Osdroid, and I also host the Gadget Grill on 2RDJ in Sydney, and occasionally I pop up on some other podcasts like the Tech Geek Techcast, and sometimes on Guy-Fi when I am in Melbourne visiting my friends. So yeah, I don't know. I don't listen to as many podcasts as I used to, but I try. How about yourself, Daniel?
I listen to very few. I have way too much music to listen to, and I'm usually either too busy doing something, and I just can't focus a lot of the time. But lately, I've been expanding my horizons to podcasts. So I listen to Cybertron. Rooster Teeth is quite funny, actually. Kevin Smith's Smodcast can be quite interesting. But the one that I mainly listen to is Oz Machine. It's an Australian podcast based on a tabletop war game, or tabletop skirmish game called War Machine and Hordes. So I listen to a lot of that. Those guys can be quite funny. But that's sort of my nerdy side poking through. I really enjoy tabletop war games, so that's pretty good. What about you, Bill? Do you listen to many podcasts?
No, not as much as Brad, that's for sure.
I don't think any of us can top Brad.
That's just insane, man. No, I think I've listened to a few of the Transform Your Life podcast. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that. And Kal-El, when he was, I think it was when it was called Shooting the Pish. I don't want to swear on.
Yeah, Shooting the Pish.
Shooting the Pish, yes. I've listened to a few of those, but yeah. But I must check out that Ozdroid. Sounds interesting.
Why, thank you.
It's that smooth, velvety voice, baby.
Oh yeah, baby. I know that's actually the After Dark podcast. So, like, I want to know also. Besides Transformers, what are you guys into? Like, I think we can guess that, Brad. I think we can guess that you've got quite a varied interest from besides Transformers. But throw us some franchises. What do you like?
I'll do all this for Transformers, but my number one franchise is Jurassic Park, the Jurassic Park franchise. And Jurassic World coming up is sort of
making you a bit like a kid in a candy store? Or?
Yeah, I'm getting wet. I'm getting wet, but I'm sort of keeping a glove on one hand because I'm scared.
So how are they going to get Star-Lord into Jurassic Park?
Well,
they give him a motorcycle and a bunch of velociraptors.
Let's just say that Hasbro, the way they're introducing him to the Jurassic World franchise is to repaint him rocket boots and all. So he has. They're taking the Star-Lord figure that they brought out for Guardians and they're just repainting it into the Jurassic World colours and reissuing it with his rocket boots.
It can be Guardians of the Galaxy Dinosaur Edition.
Yeah, well, they always say when franchises go to space, they jump the shark. So we'll see what happens in the Jurassic World.
All right.
We might see some sort of a launch at the end.
What else have we got there?
As I said earlier, co-host on the Gatecast, which is a Stargate podcast. Sort of been into that for a fair while. Ninja Turtles. Again, I went and seen the new TMNT over Guardians, so that sort of spells out where my allegiance lies there. I only just got onto Battlestar Galactica after missing all that because of Australian television and where I was at the time, and just finished that series, which was quite fun, quite good. And again, Marvel and DC, sort of in the closet with Star Wars at the moment, and Tron, and sort of got the young fella into Lego at the moment, so we're sort of full steam ahead with that because Transformers aren't putting anything on the shelf that I can buy.
Lego is just good to keep anyway, regardless. Like, there's so much more. Kids, I think it's so much more fun out of Lego. No, am I kidding? Anyone that plays with Lego kids just finds more fun in Lego.
Well, just as a base, like a $30 Lego set, you can sit there and do a build. It'll take him an hour or two to do, whereas that's pretty much the same price point as the deluxe.
Yeah.
And you've sort of got, especially if it's an AOE deluxe, you've sort of got one way and back the other way, and there's not much problem solving there. But then again, saying that, once the Lego's built, it goes on the shelf, and I don't let him touch it.
So Bill, what about you? What else are you into there besides Transformers?
Oh man, I was into a lot of stuff back in the day. What do we have? Star Wars, WWE, Lego. But I've culled that heaps back. I just sold off so much of it because it was just getting too expensive. You know, and anyone that's bought Lego or anything like that will understand. But so I got rid of all that. Basically, I've just got my Transformers, and now I'm just concentrating on the Star Wars, the 6-inch Black Series.
Okay.
The 6-inch Black Series is really good, actually.
Oh yeah, wonderful.
I hope that's a limited series.
What's that?
I hope that's a limited series.
Oh no, mainstream.
Yeah. Oh, it's just one thing I've heard or learnt over the years is if you're going into Star Wars, it's sort of there's a lot there.
Oh yeah. I mean, God.
The Black Series is good because a lot of it is they do a lot of stuff for, like, retro style or original styled Star Wars figures, and then they'll go and redo the same figures again in the more modernist styles or from the more modern movies, which is a big draw card. Plus, they're really good looking figures. Like,
Oh, absolutely. Great looking figures.
Just with that, do you reckon that the new Cabana Wars black packaging is sort of reflecting that and going to, aiming for the collector?
I think it's more to set apart from the white that was the AOE, because I think they're still keeping the same layout, aren't they? They're going the Transformers font up the right hand side there.
Yeah, I think the design's about the same, but I quite like them.
Yeah, they look classy.
It's been called Shattered Glass. It's sort of the opposite to what we had with AOE.
I think that's good. I think perhaps one of the problems that they may have had in the past is that they didn't differentiate their movie and their Generations lines enough.
True.
So yeah, it seems like that's going to happen for a while. Look, I think we're sort of half covering like what you're into and what you're collecting as well. So like, Daniel, do you want to tell us what you're collecting and other stuff that you're into, and then we'll move on to some news?
So what I'm into is like obviously Transformers because I wouldn't be here otherwise. But my biggest draw card is actually Star Wars and Star Wars and DC Comics. I'm a massive fan of both. I wish I had more money to throw at them because I probably would. But Batman specifically, the Batmanscape, and more so the Joker within the Batman timeline and universe is where I find myself drawn a lot of the time. But I'm also a massive fan of Teenage Mutant Turtles because Michelangelo is awesome and Cowabunga. But there was a lot. Like I grew up watching a lot of the older Star shows from like the 80s and a little bit further on. So I'm a massive fan of Star Trek as well. I'm not one to judge. I love Lego. And obviously, like, I'm a massive fan of Gundam because giant robots. But
just getting a lot of feedback in the background here.
Is someone making some energy somewhere?
I think it's Bill.
Bill, are you there?
Yeah, I just had to plug my laptop in. Sorry.
That'll probably be.
Has it drawn?
Yeah.
Is it still coming through, or is it gone?
No, it's gone.
Yeah.
Sweet, cool.
So yeah, back on track. Otherwise, other things that I'm really interested to is like I said, Lego, Gundam, RoboCop as well.
Nice.
War Machine and Hordes, obviously, because I like my tabletop war games, and just other random animated Japanese anime or even Western anime stuff that's out, like Dragon Ball Z or other various stuff. I don't mind collecting bits and pieces. I would
just a quick one. 2004 RoboCop reboot, yes or no?
2014.
No.
2014 or 2004
Oh, 2014.
Yes. Yes, 1,000 times yes. It was awesome.
I enjoyed it.
Yes too.
It was good. It wasn't. I went in with a lot of apprehension.
Yeah.
Well,
I enjoyed
it. To compare that to the Total Recall.
I also enjoyed Total Recall.
That's chalk and cheese. That's chalk and cheese.
All right, we'll leave it there. That can be for another time.
No, fair enough. Okay.
All right, so in our news, obviously the biggest thing at the moment is probably the Titan Class Devastator that's coming out.
Oh yeah, baby.
If you, I've got it in the messages on the Skype window. If you can't see it,
there is So we've got a very clear picture of Titan Class Devastator in the last few days. Last week when we were talking about it, it was I believe we still had a bald dude who'd been sitting in front of it for about a week. No one could actually get past him to get a clear look at it. But it's now out now. So Brad has very kindly furnished us with a comparison picture of all 4 Devastators that have been released. So we'll find a way to put that into the show notes for the podcast. Yeah, it's really quite cool the way you can see how they've evolved over time, but they've also still kept it the same.
And we'll just to let people know, we've got the G1 Devastator, we've got Hercules, Green Giant, and now the new one, which is the 4 G1 style Devastators we've had in the 30 years.
Yeah, just we don't actually count that thing from the second movie as Devastator.
No.
You mean the dog with giant uncastrated testicles?
Hey, the toy
that
didn't
is
have
what I
it.
meant.
The toy didn't have it.
That's because they got blown up.
He still lives. He'll be in number 5.
No.
But
Anyway,
just to say, like the toy, the Titan class Devastator, it actually looks really good. Like the detail in it is quite nice, and with a price range of apparently like $150, that's going to be a lot easier for people to get, other than say trying to find like a legitimate G1 or even Hercules or Green Giant with their massive price tag. Which is probably the best thing. I know I'm interested in it now that I know its price is like, $150, and it'll be even better.
That'll be $200 by the time it gets here, though.
Yeah, but that's fine. 200's better than 450, including
Yeah, you're talking about
postage.
Hercules.
Hercules, Green Giant, they sit around the 350, 400 mark.
yeah, sort of giants between 350 and 400, and you got Herc for 4 to 5, which I don't know why, but this new updated picture of the Titan class has definitely piqued my interest a lot more. Like that first image we seen, it was just a painted up model. It didn't have the final colours on it. These purples are a lot better. The tracks on the long arm, Scavenger, sorry. He's got the purple undercarriage with the black tracks, which is good to see.
I don't know the names of all the Constructicons.
Oh yeah, I'm sort of
reminiscing.
His hip, I don't know what you call them, thigh guards.
Sure. Let's go with thigh guards. No,
yeah, they're above his thighs, but they're on his hips.
They're sort of
his
just
shorts.
there.
Yeah, they don't look right. They're sort of covering up the joint. Do you see that?
It also just comes down to just looking at like the comparison. It looks like it has much more detail in just like everything compared to even Green Giant or Hercules. Like, sure, Hercules and
I
Green
think Hercules
Giant
is still up there for detail.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Hercules is still amazing. Like, you can't cross it off. But I think for the price point and what Hasbro is trying to do, the detail is really on point, I think. I'm really interested.
I have a question.
But as one note, I'll just interject that Hercules, that is not the Hercules colour. I don't know what... This image I've got's off Transformers Addicts, so I don't know what it come from. But that is a fairly bleached photo of what Herc actually looks like.
Because he's bright, vivid green, isn't he?
No, he's a real dark. He's a lot darker than that G1 beside him. He's almost an olive green.
Wow.
Does anyone watch American Horror Story?
No, not really.
So, like, Hercules has enormous hands. He looks like he should be in the Freak Show. Like, he really does.
All the better to handle that gun with, man.
Does anyone have Herc?
I don't.
No,
I think there's a couple in the group that do. I think.
Yeah. Well, I know there's after he came out, they brought out a upgrade kit, which was supposed to fix up those, what I can only say is double tracks on his, what do you call that? His arms, and I don't know if the hands were an upgrade as well, but I'm just wondering if this photo is an original photo or after the upgrade kit.
I think it's actually an original because I do remember seeing the upgrade kit, and I'm pretty sure they made his arms like the sort of between the elbow and the wrist is much thinner.
Yeah, because those hands are hanging way too low.
So I have a question for the new Titan class Devastator. How long is it going to be before a third party gives us a bonus like new head sculpt of Prowl?
They're working on it right now, mate.
You just know someone's working on it. Like they're working on the outside of it, and they're just waiting to get their hands on Devastator itself so that they can get the mold right for the head.
Oh, absolutely. They're probably already looking at it, going, "Oh yeah."
Wait, why is Prowl?
So in IDW's comics, Prowl was forcibly joined with the Constructicons, which because Scrapper was killed. And so Prowl became like the main part of Devastator, but after the war finished and after things happened, the Constructicons all decided that they like Prowl, so they hang around him, and so they're basically Autobots now.
Yeah, and Scrapper's the legs, so Prowl went to the head. Yep. From I'm going to say TFW during the week with their latest episode come out. Apparently, there's ports on Hook that there's extra ports on there that don't support the current configuration.
Fancy.
So not that it's anything that I'm over enjoyed about, but there's a possibility that Jazz can go and cuddle up with some Constructicons.
Or Prowl can. But so
Prowl.
look, Jazz can as well. That's fine. We're not really terribly preferential in our car robots.
No. They can love whoever they want to.
Yeah. That's fine.
He wants
Robots
a
should
good
be
place
free
to
to
kick
love.
it, so
Yeah.
he wants a good place to kick it, so it's the top of Devastator.
Yeah, why not?
So do we have any indication when Titan Class Devastator will hit Australian shelves?
Nothing yet.
Going off, if it's going to be released at Toy Fair, which is happening currently. Going off the Metroplex model, we should start to see this at American or online retail around June. Right around Comic-Con, BotCon, because they normally do an exclusive.
The mid-year toy sales, Brad.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing him float up like the old Platinum editions that, you know how Big W had one, Kmart had one, and then Target had the Magnus, so I wouldn't be surprised if you actually see all of the major big box retailers carrying this guy as part of their mid-year promotion. It's their big ticket item.
Yep.
Yeah. Because they're all going to get the deluxes and the Voyagers and stuff, but this is going to be the big ticket Transformers item for 2015.
Yeah, and the best thing about this item is it's a box set.
Yeah.
You're not going in. You're not getting 4 Autobots and 1 Decepticon. You're getting Devastator as a pack. You're gonna get people of all ages. Yeah, gonna get people. You're gonna get collectors. You're gonna get kids. You're gonna get everyone wanting to go and get this figure.
Especially if you got like the younger kids that have only ever seen really the movie or the Michael Bay version of Devastator, and the parents who are real Devastator fans or real Transformer fans are telling their kids, no, Devastator used to be a walking and talking robot, not a barking
sandsucker.
Yeah, pretty much. They'll be like, look, here's what Devastator looked like.
Now, just one out of all those images, the purple Mixer Bowl and Mixmaster.
Oh, this has become controversial.
Yeah, fanboy rage. Ooh.
Doesn't matter.
Is there a reference somewhere to it being purple, or are they're just doing that out of spite?
I honestly think they're just doing it to annoy G1 fans, to be annoying.
I honestly think it looks better.
I think it does. I think it breaks up like the constant monotony of green.
Yeah.
And because like if you look down at Mixmaster and all the other ones, the his cab has that piece of blue to break the monotony of green.
But his cab was purple in the cartoon. I mean, not his cab. His drum was purple in the cartoon anyway, so...
It was?
Yeah.
Alright, so Takara's going for cartoon accuracy.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's not too bad, though. That's pretty good. And carrying on, what about these Wave 2 assortments for Combiner Wars? Now, what was this that Superion couldn't be finished in Wave 1?
Yeah, well, you can finish Superion if you give him a bung leg. As in, you give him a Combaticon for his leg.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because it looks kind of weird. So the final piece of Superion is coming in Wave 2, and that is Air Raid. And the rest of the Combaticons are coming as well. Except, do they have a Voyager that they can hook up to yet in Wave 2? I'm not sure.
The Combaticons?
Yeah.
I think that's only the Stunnicons and aerial bots are in Wave 2.
Sorry, Stunnicons. Yeah. I get confused.
So
actually,
out anyway.
So Voyager Motormaster is in fact in Wave 2. So he's the big Voyager.
Yeah.
Speaking just of more Combiner Wars, that on the TFW 2005 website, that there's been more Combiner War figures found. So apparently they've found Autobot Pipes, Chop Shop, Shockwave, Buzzsaw, Scattershot, and Onslaught.
Nice. And so they've discovered these by sort of plugging in random product codes into like Hasbro's website or something, haven't they?
I think that's how they do it.
Or I
Yeah.
think isn't there like there's somebody that's employed at Walmart or Walgreens or one of them?
We have spies everywhere.
We are one. We are many.
So it says while digging through a list of items in a product database, this person's friend uncovered. So 4 Legends class, those are pipes, chop shop. Apparently Shockwave's now a Legend class, so that's kind of what you get for trying to destroy the universe, mate. And Buzzsaw and Voyagers are going to be Scattershot and Onslaught, which makes sense because we have heard that we will be getting more combiners as well.
That works.
Which will go into 2016, and then 2017 will be TF5.
Yeah. So I also saw some new legends as well. There's Huffer and Blackjack, both coming as well. So I had Huffer as a kid, and like,
Isn't Huffer like that tiny truck that
Yeah.
wanted to be Optimus?
Yeah, he always whinges and moans and
yeah. Well, I guess I don't know about that as his personality trait, but yeah, he's the little orange truck.
yeah.
And
The
like,
little truck that could.
He did
I
actually.
remember.
or could
Don't even call it a truck.
Oh dear. Yeah.
It's a truck.
So anyway,
The
so
Huffer controversy.
Dun dun dun.
So we're getting a new Huffer. He looks pretty good actually. Just looking at the shots, Blackjack looks pretty good as well. I'm really quite happy with what they're doing with a lot of the figure designs with these waves.
I mean, and they're both. What is it? Huffer's a repaint of Prime, isn't he? Prime.
Is he?
He is, yeah. And I think Rodimus.
But do we have a Legends Prime yet?
Yeah. I'm gonna see if I
that
can look up.
little one.
The one that came with Rollbar, not Rollbar, Roller, his little Target Master. Generations Legends, the first wave.
Oh, from way back. Okay, right. So yeah, it's not
Yeah,
a
so they've
repaint of a
repainted
Combiner Wars.
that. Yeah. No. So it's an existing figure that they've just simply repainted.
Mhm.
And I think Rodimus will be a repaint of Blackjack. I don't know if you guys recall seeing the photos.
Yes, I do actually. I recall asking what those photos actually were because I couldn't really tell. Yeah. Okay. So that answers that. Okay.
You want to know something really hilarious? I cannot stand Rodimus.
When you say you can't stand Rodimus, why? Why do you hate bad things? Why do you hate good things? Why do you?
Just
Oh my
before
God.
before you go into that, are you
Yeah.
talking Rodimus Prime or Hot Rod? There's a difference.
There's
I
a
don't
massive
care about
difference.
this new. I don't care about this new generations. We can't call him Rodimus or Hot Rod. There's Rodimus Prime and there's Hot Rod.
I actually just like both.
Both characters.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something about him in both both instances. Whereas both Prime and Hot Rod, it just something bugs me.
Can I just point out that if you don't fall in love with Rodimus after reading IDW, then man, I don't know. IDW's Rodimus has to be seen to be believed. He's pretty awesome.
Yeah, maybe. I'll see.
Isn't he a captain of the Lost Lamppost?
He's co-captain. He's he's actually co-captain now. With I found a lovely exchange between Rodimus and Megatron the other day. He's co-captain, and Rodimus was saying to Megatron that no, co-captain's not even a thing, and it's Optimus made that up, and Megatron said, he said you'd be upset.
Oh dear. I can't breathe.
Let's
Easy, Bill.
let's bring this back in. So we've got the Year of the Goat exclusive Platinum Edition G2 Prime Optimus, and apparently a Soundwave as well.
Yeah, it's the Masterpiece repaint.
Yeah. It seems to be like the traditional Masterpiece repaint comes around this time every year now for Chinese New Year.
I mean, and all three. I mean, it just for some reason give us something original instead of Optimus Prime. You know what I mean? The last 3 years, we've had an Optimus Prime in every year of the X or whatever you want to call it. We had the Year of the Dragon, which was the movie repaint. I think the year before was the Energon Optimus repaint, and this year we're getting a G2 laser repaint. So,
Wasn't there was I think Year of the Horse was a Masterpiece repaint, wasn't it?
It was.
yeah, there's another one. Thank you.
It was the pimped one.
Yeah, because didn't the Year of the Horse also come with who was the other one that come out? Year of the Horse.
And Cybertron Starscream.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, in the
Yeah.
G1 colours.
Which we never saw here actually because he was cancelled. Yeah, the Supreme Class Cybertron.
I did see a Supreme Class Starscream at like Kmart here.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I've seen one. I saw one like a long time.
Yeah, like back when Cybertron was airing, I did see it here. But yeah, I don't know if we got the Year of the X repaint. So do we know when these are coming out? Do we know how much they're going for? Are they actually coming here?
They probably will come here because Hasbro tends to bring everything towards all of their nations. Takara, not so much, but definitely Hasbro. But they'll probably cost a premium price tag of at least 100, 120 maybe.
Yeah, I mean, what was Omega Supreme? Last year was $100 a Big W, wasn't
He was like 160 for like the longest time though.
he? Was he?
Yeah.
I think so.
I got him for $99. I thought.
Bill, your microphone's sort of gone a bit staticky again there.
Yeah.
So, is that better?
That's better.
Yep.
All right, there we go. Okay, sorry guys.
For reference, I put a photo of Huffer in the chat window. Oh, it's not the right colour, but that's what Huffer is, and he's about the size of a Volkswagen Beetle. So,
so he's basically a truck version of Bumblebee.
Yep.
Oh, lovely.
Yep. Yet he can tow Prime's trailer.
Mm-hmm.
That always bugged me watching that in the cartoons. It's like
the fudge. The fudge.
He barely even fit under the the height of the trailer, let alone. That's like saying Bumblebee could, hitch that up with his little ball, and then just like drag it along instead of. Made no sense. But then again, Soundwave could pump stuff out of his chest without a problem.
And yeah, he went from being 40 foot tall to being 2 inches tall. So we won't look into it too far.
And you can fit 6 construction vehicles in a space shuttle too. So.
Yep. And Megatron, Starscream, and the Seekers.
Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Yeah.
Megatron can transform into a pistol though, so he's easy storage.
I think before we go into too much of the Generation 1 nitpicking section of the show, maybe we should let's keep going on stuff that's coming. We saw some pictures of Takara's Swerve, Tailgate, and Brainstorm coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Tailgate and Swerve look really good, actually.
Agreed.
Yeah, they do. I mean, so those figures aren't new. Like we've already got Swerve and Tailgate out from Hasbro, haven't we?
And Brainstorm.
Well, we definitely have Brainstorm because that's in the next room over here. But yeah, I wasn't so sure about Swerve or Tailgate. I really want Swerve because Swerve is, again, an awesome character in IDW's comics.
Brainstorm will be interesting. Like, I'm interested for Brainstorm. But
Someone needs to make a third-party accessory case for Brainstorm with a briefcase.
Didn't one of our guys make one? Yellow... I think it might have been Alex. He used the old MP cassette storage, little cases that come with the cassettes.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. Yeah,
cool.
Look good, actually. I quite like that.
He definitely needs a briefcase, perhaps too. But yeah. So look, yeah, those are coming. If you like waiting for your Takara repaints, the other stuff that I've found coming out, I'm not sure. I don't think these are new, but there's the retailer that I was looking at. They were just showing that they've opened up a pre-order for Takara's Asia Premium Series, APS 03. It's Barricade and Soundwave. Which are just...
Barricade looks cool. Yeah, but Barricade looked cool in the movies. I don't care what anyone said.
Yeah, these are the movie figures, yep.
Yeah.
Although Soundwave was interesting. I liked how he changed 3 times throughout it with the series, but,
And
his toy never reflected that, though. I've got all of them. I haven't got the Darker Moon Soundwave because that was a late run and it's only available overseas, just like Transformers Prime. Who's that one? Breakdown. It's sort of one of those things, and I do like Barricade enough that I'm nearly considering getting this set.
Barricade just hands down was probably one of the best draw cards for that. Him and Jazz, I really wish Jazz got more of a pull in the Jazz was my favorite. He really was. And then the ending of that movie kind of made me sad. But carrying on.
Oh.
Aw.
He wants to cry.
I do.
Yeah.
I want to.
So, so
I do agree. Like we get that same issue in all 4 of the movies. Just the last 5 minutes, just sort of blur runs off when it could be the last 15, 20 minutes, just to explain what just happened. But yeah, I think with movie 1, they'll sort of hinging their bets on whether or not they'll even get a sequel, and they sort of, if all the Autobots survive at the end, you'd be saying, well, they're all invincible. How can if Megatron, Starscream couldn't beat them, then who's going to beat them? But
it's the Superman problem.
yeah,
Fair enough.
yeah.
So look,
Superman could be easy beat, though. You go and grab a glowing green rock and throw it in his face.
Jab it in his back. I've seen that done in Nose 5, and it worked well. Some will disagree. A lot will disagree, but.
So look, we've talked about some Hasbro and Takara stuff that's coming up. There's way more figures coming out than Hasbro and Takara's fairly meager assortment. Actually, I think it must be said. There's some great stuff coming out from third-party manufacturers, and a lot of them are up for pre-order at the moment. So we also thought we'd spend a bit of time going through some of them. The main one that we've seen coming out this week is Astro Train. Like, Astro Train is in fact like a train. You wait for 10 minutes. You wait for 10 minutes or an hour for them, and then 2 of them turn up. So Toy World and DX9 are both doing Astro Train. No one really understands why, but whatever.
DX9's looks really nice, actually. I haven't seen the Toy World one. What does it look like?
They both have their advantages and disadvantages.
They have their advantages and their detractors. I believe it's the so the DX9 one, I really don't like the torso design on it. I think it looks like it's just a big block, but the Toy World one looks better. But I don't know. I can't bring myself to want either of those figures. I don't know what it is.
I just think they're it almost feels like they're so close yet that point where it's like, almost, you know what I mean? Like, you get 2 out of the 3 alt modes so right, then the robot mode falls down and vice versa or something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right too. Yeah.
You know, that Devil Star or Evola Star, whatever it's called now, like the alt mode and the shuttle mode and the train modes are fantastic, love them, but then that robot mode's like,
Yeah, and the biggest and another issue for me is they're not Masterpiece.
No,
they're Masterpiece scale, aren't they?
One is, the other one's Voyager.
Aesthetic-wise, I think, you know, if you look at the existing Masterpieces and then you put Astro Train in, that's going to stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, Astro Train is really nice. I see what you mean. I'm looking at Evil Star. His chest is much nicer than DX9.
Chugga.
Okay, henceforth we'll call DX9's Astro Train Bow Chicka Bow Wow.
That one. But yeah, the DX9 is really nice. But I'm actually leaning more towards the Toy World now.
I think the Toy World one actually looks pretty good. I just sort of I don't know. I never particularly cared for Astro Train when I was growing up, and I'm like, fair enough. You can remake Astro Train. I don't care.
See, that was the opposite to me. I enjoyed looking at. I liked the idea of a train that could turn into a space shuttle, and then it's like, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to belt the shit out of people now.
Can I just point out, like on the thing of like a train turning into a shuttle, I got annoyed the first Michael Bay movie. I went to see it with my friend, and at the end of the movie, Starscream transforms into a jet and flies off into space, and my mate's just gone, "That's unrealistic."
That does not work.
Yeah, well, I'm like, well, you've just been watching a movie about large robots bashing the shit out of each other. Yeah, whoops.
And bullets don't work. Yeah, my biggest thing, who's the, not DX9, who's the other one?
Toy World.
Yeah, Toy World.
Toy World Astro Train, the shuttle, I like the look of the shuttle. That train is a steam train, and it looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
With that engineering in a Voyager figure, I don't understand how the DX9 train looks so bad. I don't like the look of the train mode, and the shuttle mode, all that reminds me of is the Warbotron shuttle.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I like. Yeah, the
And
shuttle
the
just
coloured,
has
the
too
coloured
many lines.
photos, the coloured photos, you see the shuttle windows at the front of the train, and you can clearly see how the engineering works, whereas the Voyager, which is supposed to be a simpler, cheaper, lower price point entry,
Yeah.
it seems to do a lot better job. Yes, the screen accurate model didn't have his tail fins spread open on the thing, but the toy did, and they've sort of added that little touch to his chest.
Yeah. Fair enough.
So we've come to the conclusion that we all prefer the Toy World version of Astro Train.
I think so.
Well, Jason's not really. Jason doesn't really care much. I can
judge it as better, but I'm not going to buy it.
No, same here. I reckon the Toy World one is a better figure out of the two, even though one's a Voyager and one's a master, or air quotes, masterpiece figure. But I'm not going to be paying $80 for a Voyager of Astro Train if it's only a Voyager, because it doesn't fit anywhere in my collection.
Well, that's kind of the problem as well. Is like these third-party Transformers, they're not cheap, and so when they get a part of it wrong, or like they produce something that's not quite what we want, it's it's a bit more glaring, and it just gives us a little bit more pause as to whether or not we actually hand over our money.
Yeah, especially considering they cost so much. Although speaking of that, I'm just looking at the Unique Toys Octane.
That's the next on the list, isn't it? Provider, yeah. I love the way all these third party, like, they've got names that are sort of they're a tangent to the original name. Some of them are, like Octane is a fuel truck. He provides fuel. Let's call him Provider.
Although it looks weird seeing like Provider having the alt mode of the truck and then the alt mode of the jet at the same time. Like, and looking at him in robot form, it looks like they just couldn't figure out what to do with the back, like
the wings.
The back, yeah.
I can't wait to see a review of this figure to see how the engineering works. The only issue with listening to so many podcasts is I can't determine which one I heard it from. One of the Transform podcasts was either Transmissions or TFW. They brought up the fact just having to make a cylinder or a robot transform into a cylinder is some pretty good engineering.
The only thing looking at currently at TFW's website, where I'm currently looking at these pictures, is they have the thrusters which make up the wheel axles, which is perfectly fine in any other thing. It's just when you're looking at the back of the figure, when it's in robot mode, it looks so out of place, having like thrusters down, and then right at the top you got these these sets of wheels sitting on top. It just looks so weird to me.
Yeah,
but
hey Bill, you're
fuzzy
going again.
Yeah. Is that better? Sorry, I'm just having some... Is that better?
It's not really gone, but it's a little bit better. That's gone.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Well, now it's back.
No, it's back.
What? I don't know. Maybe there's something that's causing it you can not do or something.
It could literally just be that the wires...
Stand on your head.
Maybe just try unplugging the laptop from power for a minute, because that's often the case that feeds through. That's much better.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just
no, it's not. It's still there.
No.
Oh, that's so
We'll just
weird.
have to deal with it, boys. We'll
Well,
have to man up for a little bit, I think.
Yeah, it's not as bad as the last episode, trust me.
Hmm.
My audio is absolutely shocking in that. I don't know why, what happened or what, but yeah. Oh.
Well, look. If you, look, we do apologise. We'll work it out.
Yeah. I can work noise reduction in there and get rid of some of that as long as there's not audio behind it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, so the next one, just going down the list, is the Fan Toys Grenada or Bombshell.
Actually, just before we get off Provider, so I did see its estimated arrival date is May, and it's about Sort of. It looks like it's about $100 to $120.
It's a quick one. It's sort of only come out the last fortnight, photo-wise,
I think
and it's sort of coming.
There was, yeah, you're right. It is. Sorry, I was a bit confused. Yeah. We like quick third parties instead of waiting months for them.
A year.
Yeah. So yeah, sorry. We're getting some
Bombshell,
Insecticons, or at least one of them, or we're getting two of them because there's a Grenadier, and it's a grey and purple chest versions. Does anyone know why there are two versions?
Yeah, toy and cartoon.
It
Same
seems
fans toys, so I understand that.
Yeah, it seems that a lot of third party these days are deciding to cut their losses and just do both. That way that they can appeal to try and appeal to both collectors, not cop rage.
Or they can just sell twice the number of figures.
Yeah,
There's that
there's
too.
that. Yeah. But when it's only a simple colour change, it's not. I can't see it being too much of an outlay to change one figure from red to blue or green to grey.
I suppose so. Now, tell me, who has the Perfect Effect DX03 Warden? Or as he's also better known when he's sitting on my shelf, Fort Max.
His head.
Well, yeah, Fort Max's head, but Fort Max.
Yeah, no, don't have it.
So
I looked at it. It's interesting.
He's a great looking figure. And so in the IDW continuity, Fort Max is just another bot. He's normal size, so this figure is like an appropriate size. But apparently, Perfect Effect felt that he needed a bigger gun, so they've released an expansion weapon. Now, have you seen a picture of this holding the original gun?
That big, massive cannon.
Yep. That's the gun that comes in the box with Warden. So he's got a bigger weapon now that they're selling as an accessory pack.
Oh, God.
Bigger guns. It needs bigger guns.
It needs bigger guns and wings, I think, are the things that third-party manufacturers like to sell.
Well, Hypernova kind of proved that point.
Yeah, exactly.
Gave it wings that sold like hotcakes.
That's where I was going. So, look...
before you go into that, just with him, what size class, like, you sit him beside a Generations figure, is he, what have I got, is he an Invasion Mode prime size figure? Because I know he's got to sort of collapse down into Fort Max's head.
Amusingly, I actually have an Evasion Mode Prime and Warden on my desk at work, and I'm just trying to see if I've got a photo of him so that I can answer this question. I don't think I do. I think he's
because going off the fact he has to sort of collapse down into Magnus's. I want to say Magnus. Into Fort Max's head. He's sort of thinking of a deluxe size. Another.
Oh, isn't he a little taller than a Classics Prime?
He's not small. Like I think he probably doesn't fit a size scale really.
Yep.
But he's
sort of in between.
I think he's only about 3/4 of MP10's height, isn't he? Something like that.
Yeah, that's probably about right. Like I said, I don't think he fits a size scale.
That's fair enough. Now,
you know what size scale he probably fits? Perfect Effects.
Yep.
Fair enough. Just on another thing, sidetracking onto our next point is the Kids Logic mini figures.
Yeah.
With a 5-pack, you got Smokescreen, Ironhide, Megatron, Jazz, and Wheeljack. Looking at them, I've never been fussed with these mini toys. What is with them? I've seen them about, but I'm just... I don't know.
I don't know. People seem to have suddenly taken to these. I don't know. Maybe it's the characters that they've done.
The kids Logic figures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Well, that Prime's awesome, and they done a Soundwave, and I'm pretty sure there's a Grimlock as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think Wave 1 they did. It looks like from what I'm seeing on Amazon, they did Soundwave, Starscream, Bumblebee, Grimlock, and Prime. And so the new wave, they've got what did we say he was in?
Megatron, Ironhide, Jazz. What was the other one?
Wheeljack and
Smokescreen and Wheeljack. Yeah.
And if you pay an extra $30, you get a gold Megatron for some reason.
Oh, they certainly extend that line.
So how How? And actually, so these guys have light up LED eyes.
Yeah.
Or lights,
Yeah.
if you mispronounce it. Light up LED eyes, and that's sort of their thing. But they're like $140 US usually for their sets. I think they're 120 for the new set. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It seems like they're just something that you'd collect besides like your pop vinyl figures or just your little knickknacks that fit that collectible
Novelty
market.
lines almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like-
Well,
like
they cover your what were those goddamn things I had it before? I forgot. No, lost it.
Well, I think they are sort of like the pop vinyl figures. Like they can keep making them, and at least these are
what
more.
What were they releasing? That were the they're just they're not even a figure. They're just
Do
like
you mean the Mighty Mugs?
Mighty Mug.
Yeah.
Yep, right here. Repeat.
So like
Edit.
no, don't bother editing that.
No, I'll edit that out.
So the Mighty Mugs, but the Mighty Mugs they were sort of the same base figure, and then they sort of customize them a little bit. These guys are their own molds. Like you can't reuse Optimus's legs on Megatron or anything. So there's a little bit more craftsmanship to these, and they actually look pretty good.
Well, that's it. It's sort of at a far removal, the Mighty Mugs collectors, but more your Super Deformed and sort of those collectors. And just from reviews of the Prime and Megatron that I've seen, they look amazing just with the LEDs, especially on Prime, with all these cab lights lighting up with the LEDs and that. If they're a cheaper price, I'd be jumping on all of them. But
that's kind of my problem. Is that they are just so Kids Logic have made. So they call them, I think, Mechanations, their main line, and they've also made these minifigures, and it's the minifigures that we're getting Wave 2 of now.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Next
And the Optimus Prime, he does. What does he say? He does come apart. There's a
Okay.
I don't know if it's a Gundam robot underneath or not. There's something underneath that Prime shell that he comes back to with the lights, but there's the KO ones out there for like $40 each that don't have the light up features, but they still have the like very similar paint, same design.
The shiny paint does appeal to me.
Yeah, but you need those lights, those LEDs and the cab lights, and that are just spot on.
I think if I was to purchase something for that, they would literally have to be like something that I would need to see every day. So something that I would probably perhaps have in an office or around with me. Yeah. Otherwise, I just don't see where I'd put them, because like if they've got LEDs, I'd be like, oh, that's cool. And then I'd flick the LEDs off and set them in a shelf, and that'd be the end of it.
From memory, they're only about 6 inches tall, so they're not going to take up a lot of space. They probably would serve that sort of collector that wants something for his office desk or something smaller like that.
Yeah, novelty line.
Yeah.
I think so.
That's how I see him.
Yeah, just like that Optimus Prime pen. Like, it's just something that, of course, there's the collectors that have to have everything. And there's some to say, that looks nice. I can have that. That can sit on a bloody... That can sit above the oven in the kitchen. I've got a nice little Prime in the kitchen.
Everyone likes a Prime in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
And there's obviously a market for this stuff. I mean, they've sold the first wave. They've obviously made enough revenue to pump out the second one. So, I mean, more power to them, you know what I mean? Good on them.
Yep.
The Transformers will return after these messages.
Oh no, look!
It's Omega Supreme!
There it is, the Omega Supreme Defense Center. And that's its fantastic motorized tank.
Decepticons! Counterattack Omega Supreme!
The Transformers!
Omega Supreme will stop them!
And now it's here in theaters everywhere. Transformers the movie.
It's over, Prime.
Does Prime die? Transformers the movie, rated PG, now playing everywhere.
We now return to the Transformers.
All right, let's move on. Who had Throttlebots when they were younger? Obviously, I'm not really talking to you, Daniel, because you are still young.
I think I had one.
I had a couple of them.
I think I'm gonna have to look these up. Actually, I think I've never even heard of Throttlebots before.
So actually, I might be getting confused between Throttlebots and the Sparkbots, because I thought they were the little.
Nah, they were something.
Nah,
they were different. Yeah.
But so Throttlebots they're also like the general, like little car transformers, and they all sort of transform much the same way. Were the Throttlebots the automatic, like you'd bump them together and they'd transform?
No. These ones, they had the pullback action and stuff.
I thought those were the Sparkbots.
No, the Sparkbots are the ones you'd run across the floor.
You just push, you push a couple of times and let go, and
Okay.
And
they're sort of perpetual motion.
Yeah, it's
engine
pullback and release motor, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Are you thinking the jump starters when you release them on your kitchen floor and then they pop up?
Oh, jump start, rightio. Yeah, I had one of them. That DeLorean type car.
So Throttlebots are back. Toy World is releasing a 7-figure Throttlebots combiner. The Throttlebots never actually combined before, but people like combiners this year, so let's make them combine. It's a 7-figure combiner, 01 to 07. I think we already have 01, 02, and 03, but 04, 5, and 6 Expressway, Shinebug, and Sideload, they've been announced. I think they're available for pre-order from some places. The figures don't really seem based on anyone in particular. Although
They actually just look more like generic cars, to be quite honest. You got your Jeep, you know what you could put to your Jeep Cherokee. You got your sports cars. You got your middle-aged SUV, and from what I can guess, seeing at the picture, there's a little bit of a yellowy golden car behind the back. It just seems just like a bunch of random cars, and they're like, all right, let's make them into sort of Transformers and then combine them.
Well, they've just taken them into, giving them something they haven't done before. They're using existing colours.
That's it. It's the most non-IP infringing combiner they could ever come up with.
The only one I really found any sort of point of reference is that Shinebug sort of looked like Bumblebee, or at least Goldbug, at least in his IDW form with the line down his bonnet. But even then, it's not really that close. So,
I think they've just taken it to a new level. They're homaging them with their colours. Like Chase is the red one, Wide Load is the orange one, Roll Bar is the green one, Freeway is the blue one, yada, yada, yada. And they've just created their own independent little Gestalt.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool. I mean, I like it. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a great looking figure.
Look, everyone likes combining robots, apparently, so why not?
Yeah, why not?
So we've also spotted a third-party Motormaster. It's up on the Big Bad Toy Store for pre-order.
Oh, man, that thing looks horrid.
It's BCS 01 Lone Wolf. Who's BCS?
No idea.
That's completely new. I've never heard of them.
Well, that's why it's 01, isn't it?
Yeah. Can someone link me a photo of that, because I tried to copy the BBTS thing into my browser and it didn't work.
Oh, okay. Let's.
Because I copied the link.
Actually,
I copied the link. And
what I'll do is I'll just drop it into the run sheet there. And
I copied the one in the run sheet, and it just kept on going back to the run sheet. It didn't go into anything new.
That's okay. There we are. He should be in the run sheet now if you scroll down a little bit more.
It looks terrible. It literally just looks like a bunch of blocks.
It looks like arse.
Oh, God.
Actually, you want to know what it honestly thinks? That little truck that could, Huffer, he kind of looks like Huffer.
Yeah, he kind of does. So that'll be obviously what they repaint him as. There'll be an orange version coming.
This has to be an unpainted model.
Well, I mean, Motormaster was
I'm pretty sure.
dashed in. It's not like Motormaster was, decked out in neon colours or anything.
Sure.
Black, grey, purple, man.
Well, that's it. You sort of, his base colours are there. That dark grey is what it will stay as. You sort of got purple windows for the feet, and maybe a purple sword.
And a stripe down the side of the trailer.
Yeah. Wait a second. So T-Formers actually has a picture of a combined form.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, I'm just sticking it in the run sheet too. Don't know what to make of that.
No, pass.
Yeah, no. That
I love every time a new photo comes up. It's like we've stabbed Brad in the eye. We'll put some links to these in the show notes anyway. So yeah, you can see exactly what's going on. Have they put jets in as his feet?
Yeah, they have.
Like it.
2 drag strips and 2 jets.
Wait, is this thing actually compatible? Is this compatible with the
Combiner Wars?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what's going on.
Jets.
So this is basically a third-party replacement for the Wave 2 Motormaster.
Mm-hmm.
Is it
Wow.
That looks
to beat
terrible. I don't. Anybody that buys this, I think, in my honest opinion, might need to reevaluate what they're going to spend $135 on.
This is $135. Why would you do this?
A Voyager figure.
Is it supposed to look more authentic than a repainted Optimus Prime? Because that's the only reason I can think anyone would do this.
To be quite honest, it seriously just looks more like a repainted version of Huffer, to be quite honest. That's what I'm going to call it as of now. Lone Wolf is now just a black-dyed Huffer.
But no, the Menasor doesn't have the... Oh yeah, alright. The original one has the cab over his head. It's,
the Huffer had these cab, but it didn't have a trailer either. It was just a standalone.
It's that's really odd.
Can I just you know the rule about the internet where you don't read the comments?
Yeah.
So I love comments sometimes. Someone on T-Formers said, "Can we get the price down from $130 to $30?" and got told almost immediately to get a job and not be so cheap.
Oh yeah, like Daniel. Or you can get a job and not be so cheap.
Yeah.
And then it just goes on to explain how third-party companies need to make money and yada yada yada.
Yeah. So anyway, I think we can agree that was a bit crap. So
it's just to close out on that, it's just again another third-party company not sort of supplying the need that we need. If that makes any sense, like
it's not making a demand.
No.
There's no demand for that.
No, I mean, and from all accounts, the Wave 2 Motormaster was the figure designed, and then they've re-engineered that into primed for Wave 1.
Yeah, that's right.
And I've seen a couple of photos of that Motormaster. Yes, it's just unfortunate it's being compared to Prime, but it's definitely the first design was, and Prime just come out of that because we have to have an Optimus Prime in the Wave.
Mm-hmm.
And that's sort of letting that figure down. But this is
that's my challenge. I think that's what I think we should do. State to companies. I would really like to see a toy line where Optimus Prime isn't released.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that going to be? And this is going to segue us into what's actually here. Isn't that going to be Robots in Disguise?
No, because it's still the Legend class Prime, even though it's
there's a few different
toy.
Primes, yeah.
Yeah.
They've released another, I can't remember the size now. The Japanese call it Big Optimus Prime in there.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's just, so usually the tradition would be that, like, their 01 in whatever their ranges are always, like, Convoy at least. But they've broken with that tradition for this one because, like, Prime's not actually in the show, or is he in the show in some way that we don't really know yet?
Well, from all accounts, he's the Obi-Wan Kenobi of the show.
Yeah, fantastic.
And that's from everything I've heard, that's what his role is in the show. But there's nothing to say. Peter Cullen signed on for season 1, so there's nothing to say that they're going to find some sort of a well of the Allspark or some sort of matrix hidden away that's going to bring him back.
That'll be like the final episode of the season or something. Actually, so
don't. Yeah, okay.
All right. So look, we have sort of segued into our next news topic, which is what's here and what's actually available now. So, Hasbro Robots in Disguise. Their first wave is Steeljaw, Strongarm, Bumblebee, and Grimlock. And I believe the show starts sometime this month, unless you speak Chinese, in which case the entire season is available in a video-on-demand service.
21st.
Yeah. So February 21st, I think that's in the States, isn't it? Or is that here too?
It's here. It's here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Cartoon Network.
And as we've alluded to a couple of times, Hasbro Combiner Wars Wave 1 are available at Australian retailers if you know where to look. They seem to be at Toy World, and that's about it at the moment.
And Mr. Toys, was it?
Well,
Mr. Bob's Toys? What?
Yeah.
I mean, some of our more, like, a few members have commented on the fact that Kmart have actually started making preparations for them.
When you say making preparations, do you just mean like they've like reduced the Transformers range down to nothing? Because that's my Kmart.
No, they well, that's good actually. You can put
That's
more
my target.
stuff out. But yeah, no, they've started to market where they're actually going to place the product, so they've laid out the labels and stuff in preparation.
Really?
Yep.
That seems like a lot of work to do in advance of actually getting stock.
Yeah, but at least
Considering
they know
it's-
that that's where it's going to be. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to fart ass around and try to squish it into like the back corner of the store or anything.
Yeah, but
I've never seen that.
I actually will honestly believe that is what My Big W and Kmart will do, is they'll just find some little nook and cranny in the toy section and sit it there, and you have to rumble through the basically the crap that is still basically littering the shelves to find it. And honestly, the last couple of toy lines, the only thing I got when AOE was released was the Lego Transformers. That was
the
it.
crayons.
The crayons.
No,
how's that? We got that in stereo.
The crayon, not just the crayons, but like the bigger ones for the Dinobots.
Someone boiling a kettle.
The Construct bots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, cool. So look, let's move on. There's some that's pretty much the official stuff that's now available. There's also I think Unique Toys Warlord, which is a Predaking third party. That's not new, but it's come back in stock in a few places if you're looking for that one. DX9 is all over the place in their news today. They've got their Invisible, which is a third party Mirage. There's a transparent version of that, and their main version.
Yeah.
That actually looks like a pretty good figure.
Yeah, if it's completely clear, I'm 100% for that figure.
He's not too bad. Let me just find. I'm just going to find a picture of him. He's not too bad. Like he's transparent.
I mean, but that was a given. Anyone that does Mirage, you know what I mean? They're like,
But Takara or Hasbro won't do that. Or
they
Takara
have some of their classics range, like they've made the Gentai. But yeah, no, in the Masterpiece, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, Takara known for repaint, so if they can get anything out of it, but then again, Mirage isn't on their.
Just looking at just looking on like TF Source and stuff, and he is all but his joints are completely clear. Although that was looking at another one, but like there's somewhere like his joints are just this real light blue, and there's other ones where his joints are completely clear as well. So, but he's clear as in a clear blue, like a real dark.
So he's blue. I've just stuck a photo of him in the run sheet as well. He's a good-looking figure.
I actually really like the clear.
You don't really like it?
I do.
Oh, you do, yeah.
It's not clear enough for me. Honestly, what?
I can understand that, but yeah, I would probably not go for the clear one. I'd probably just go for the traditional paint job. But no, I like him. He's a good.
If it was a transition, like if his gun, say his right hand shoulder and half his head and chest were the dark blue, and it went down. Probably below his hips were completely clear, like he's going into invisible mode. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
But it's just sort of this clear. He's not invisible, and he's not the original color. So it's sort of this weird in between. That's sort of.
I think that's why I'd go for the normal paint job, just because it clears up any ambiguity around that.
Yeah, and to confirm with this one, it is rubber tires. I'm pretty sure he's got rubber tires.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
They look plastic in the shop, but that's you know what Photoshop does. Look, what else is available? Warbotron Whirlwind is now available. I
actually really like the look of this figure. Not gonna lie, I really like it.
It's a beast.
I'm not completely sold.
I don't like the color. That light purple.
Yeah, no,
it's a good looking robot mode, but it's just not a Vortex to me.
He's a little bit. I don't know. He's got a little bit of a Darth Maul vibe going on with the way the blades attach to his hands.
Yeah.
Look, those blades are completely unmanageable. I mean, there's no way he can possibly pick up an Energon drink when he goes into swerves. He's going to clear the table if he tries.
hey, he's running that battle computer on his floppy disk, so it's all good.
Although, if you look around, there's actually it comes with 2 clips, so you can connect 2 of them together, and they basically become pole arms that he can rest on his back. So I imagine that would be easier for him to go get his drink from Swerves.
Yeah, no, fair enough. He would be okay with that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Well, before we leave Warbotron behind, I posted a couple of pictures in the Skype window of the Onslaught.
Yes, they looked quite interesting.
They were posted today on the Facebook group.
I really like that. That looks really good.
That tank carrier in alt mode, he can tow brawl.
Yeah.
I'm in love with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't brought any of the Warbotron figures. I had to cancel my pre-order on the Blast-Off, and sort of haven't really gone back to them since. But seeing that Onslaught, that's getting the wallet hurting. I need to find a way of getting them, whether it's TFI or if Joel's got it coming in, or Shane. But yeah.
So what else we got?
High heels, mate.
Yeah.
What else we got? We got some accessories and an alternate face for Masterpiece Wheeljack. Are they important to people?
Some people,
do we all
maybe.
have Masterpiece Wheeljack?
Negative. He's on the list.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody would kindly donate him to me, I'd take him, but no.
Okay. And we saw some.
Pick out this Wheeljack first.
Sorry, I missed that.
Sorry.
Yeah, coming fuzzy.
Yeah. Need to
just
speak
want to
up
have
a bit.
look at this. I just want to have a quick look at this Masterpiece alternate face.
Okay.
That's not the bit of the removed face, is it?
Not entirely sure. That's getting really bad.
Believe it or not, man, that fuzz is coming from you.
From me?
Yeah.
Not according to my input and output levels.
Is it from me?
It does seem to be.
But I mean, what do you need an alternate face for Wheeljack? Half his face was covered anyway, so...
True. Unless it lights up and blinks.
And his ears flash every time he talks, but yeah.
Now, what's this War in Pocket stuff?
Is that the Legends class stuff?
So, War in Pockets, I wasn't sure if they were actually meant to be sort of like, new world's smallest Transformers or not. They do look like Legend size, possibly a little bit smaller. So yeah, there's a few of those figures out at the moment. There's Prime, there's Blur, Ratchet, Ironhide, and Scourge. They look kind of cool.
I really like that Scourge.
Yeah, I think so too.
Really like that.
We all seem to like a good Scourge figure. I don't really know why. Maybe it's because we've never really had one.
Yeah, true.
That's coming out. That Andrus that's coming out. Oh man. The same mob that made Apollyon, the MP Megatron.
Yeah,
No, the Brony Megatron.
The Brony Megatron, yeah. They're Scourge, man. Oh, dear Lord. Oh, wow. That thing's amazing.
So I stuck a picture of some of the War in Pocket figures. So like they are pretty small. It's still just uploading. They are pretty small, but they are actually fairly detailed. That's why my sort of closest comparison point is the WSTs.
Yeah, if you listen to WTF, Vangelis was sort of 100% into these, and he's sort of rated, I think it was the Ironhide. Although going off the picture, it might be Scourge and Ratchet. He's already reviewed.
So Ratchet and Ironhide sort of go hand in hand anyway.
Yeah.
So
but there's sort of the legend figures we've all got from the stores, but just with a lot more better articulation, and not movieverse.
Yeah, that's pretty much the main selling point for me.
Yeah.
So what else? We got a couple of other things. One matters, one doesn't. Fans Toys FT05 Saw, which is basically Swoop, is available in red now. If you're so inclined to buy a red Swoop.
If you want to.
And if you're also so inclined to buy additional appendages for Superion, DMY Studios has got you covered. I'm not particularly sold on that because I don't really have a Superion yet, but yeah. Do you guys buy add-ons for your figures like that? Like
Nah.
I generally don't, but I know, like, they keep making them, so I assume someone's buying them.
I mean, I was tempted
There's
by
quite a few in the group that do. I think if what happens is if somebody buys like a Hasbro or Takara figure and it hasn't quite reached either that G1 feel or that cartoon accurate vibe, third party people will, like, companies will create add-on kits to make it that extra mile better, so people go out and buy it. But otherwise, it's just a waste of money, especially considering how much money they cost. Although saying that, the heads got for Dan that come with the new MP Bumblebee was pretty bad. Looking at that, so there's a kit to swap his head out.
What's it called?
Doctor Who.
New Partners or something?
New Partners.
Yeah, new Partners. It looks alright. So
I mean, at least give us pupils, Takara.
Yeah.
Like, really, you can't paint 2 dots on a face.
That's a good point, actually. Takara's Chromia, at least, is also out. There's other figures in that way, but I'm not sure what they are because this is a bit off the cuff. I think just thinking about the additional like third-party add-ons, I believe I have the fuel tank or the fuel carrier. What am I talking about? The fuel tank thing that transforms into the gun for the Binaltech Optimus Prime. I'm drawing everyone's drawing a blank.
Yeah, right. No, yeah. I've heard.
What's this?
I'm just watching the tumbleweed scroll.
I know. It was like
you
everyone left me hanging there.
Are you talking about the gas tankers?
Yes, that's the one. The gas carrier.
Yeah, because there's a couple in that line. There's one for Motormaster and a couple of others.
So the one that I've got is the I don't know who it's made by, but I don't know. It was back. It was like remember when they had like stupid names and numbers things? It's TFX AB201. Yeah.
See what?
It's back from 2008. That's like the only add-on that I have for a figure, and it's mainly because the Binaltech Optimus Prime didn't come with a good gun. But it is also kind of amazing what they can fit inside the space of a little fuel tank, and it comes with a little mini Matrix as well. So like, that's cool. Anything that includes a Matrix gets a tick from us. Is that right?
I like, I like the BTS-01. Does anyone remember that? The G1 Optimus Prime upgrade. Came with a jetpack and the Matrix and the little set that open up. Yeah, had one of those. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, cool. Look, so I think that brings us to the end of the news. Do we want to talk a little bit about the latest additions to our collections, just to round the show out?
I've shipped my pile of loot, so hopefully in about 2 weeks I should be getting a shit ton of stuff come through, which is good.
I had a box turn up this week with a few Transformers Timeline pieces, a BotCon 2009 Wings of Glory set. I'm pretty happy with these.
You bugger. I saw that. I was drooling, man.
The best bit about it is that it was like I got it from a collector who was selling her collection, so she was just like, "Do you want Leozak? I'll throw in Leozak." I'm like, "Okay." And was it Leozak or was it Sideburn? I happen to particularly like the Transformers Armada Starscream mold, and and so this is a repaint of that. I'm like, it's a rare repaint that is like only available at a convention. Sure, I'll take it. You don't want any money for it? Okay, thanks.
Score.
Yeah.
Win.
I don't know. How about yourself, Brad? What did you get this week?
Well, these are all sort of coming in from past weeks. Finally opened Scoria after 6 months in the closet, and yes, he's got a bit of a limp left arm, but I don't care. Red Alert, got Masterpiece Red Alert in. He's still sitting in his box in display at the moment. I haven't got him out just yet, but he will be coming out shortly.
My Masterpiece Red Alert is around somewhere.
Yeah, because I got the Sideswipe sort of come in with a bulk lot I got, so I never got that mould out of the box to see what he's all about. And that's old news.
So
March I got Marty McFly, the 1/6 coming in. That's sort of off topic.
Did you get the DeLorean, Brad?
Sorry?
Did you get the DeLorean?
No, I was
Is that
going
from
to.
Hot
Yeah.
Toys?
Yeah, I was going to, but I've got nowhere I can put something that big.
Oh man, I so wanted that thing. Oh, man.
I have a Lego DeLorean. The Back to the
Oh,
Future
the
set.
little create your own one.
Yeah, I
cool.
got the Ghostbusters one too.
The Ecto one's a lot better.
Yeah.
Than
The Ecto
DeLorean.
one is nice.
Yeah. Yeah, there's just... I could get... You might have seen today, I've posted photos of the fish tanks upside down.
Yeah, that was quite smart. I liked it.
Yeah, I could get something similar to put over the DeLorean, but my coffee table's used too much by the kids and by me, so it wouldn't be able to go there. And also, it's coming in. I think the original pre-order was about $850, and I'm pretty sure that's US, not import.
Whoa, so what's that, okay?
How's the Aussie dollar for you this week?
Yeah, so it's all fair enough. That might have been pre-ordered 2 months ago. I don't know how that would still go now that the dollar's dropped out of it. But it's sort of one of those things. Like, yes, I'd love to have that, and I'm pretty sure the Sideshow exclusive DeLorean has Marty the camera. I think there's a newspaper, like a 1/6 newspaper article as well from the future, and the hoverboard, and that whole set would be lovely to be in my collection. But
how much was it again, Brad? Sorry, $850. You said.
I'm gonna say the pre-order is about $850.
Just be careful with that if you're importing, man. That's over $1,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to get slugged with import taxes and GST and all the rest of it.
Yeah, that did come up because that's $850 just for the DeLorean. Plus, you're looking at $200 for Marty.
If they ship them separately, it might be okay, but yeah.
Yeah. So that's I cancelled the DeLorean. Just went with Marty for now. He comes with his video camera, and I think he's got the newspaper article. He doesn't have a hoverboard, which is
Wasn't
upsetting.
there? Sorry, Brad. There was an exclusive somewhere. I remember reading something about he gets an exclusive guitar if you order with Sideshow or something.
Okay, I
Don't
haven't
tell
heard
him
that.
Don't tell him that now. He's already
Oh,
ordered.
no.
But that's not.
I mean, that's like I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm just trying
that's
to.
That's the next release from him to reuse that mold, or reuse that figure is with the, what do you call it? That old suede jacket that he wore in the music scene.
The dance in the sea or something, wasn't it? Oh God, too many vodkas. I can't remember.
Yeah, I've just drawn blank too.
All right, look,
You're chanting under the sea, wasn't it?
Yeah, under the sea dance. Yeah.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, but he's got that red electric guitar there, and then of course they can redo it with his bowler hat and the black leather jacket when he's at that same scene as well. Like they know how to repaint and do it. And like we've got Thanos, we've got Ultron coming out now. Like these are initial waves just to come out to hand over your $300 for him. I think Thanos is nearly $500. Just to get him now when Iron Man 3 or Civil War comes out, and he might make an appearance in that, or Guardians 2. He'll have a different set of armor on, and they'll release a different figure for another $500, and they'll get people to buy it. It's just
that's $650, man.
Yeah. And
that's the one thing that I'm looking forward to at the moment is like I can't remember if it was Hot Toys or Sideshow just released a bunch of 1/6 scale, really good 1/6 scale Star Wars stuff. A lot of it is the Clone Troopers.
Yeah,
I'm really interested in looking into purchasing one of those.
I'm gonna I don't care if I have to eat mee goreng noodles for 6 months. I'm buying. Seriously, have you guys seen the Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Yes.
Toys, Alec Guinness. Oh my God! Like seriously, I'm wet. I've just blown everywhere. I'm gonna. Oh, sorry, edit that one, Brad. That's mine. I must have it.
They've got some figures like they've like before Christmas they released the Chewie and Han. That to me, that Han doesn't look like. I've drawn a blank. What's his name?
Harrison
Ford.
Harrison Ford, yeah. Doesn't look like Harrison Ford. The Chewie, we finally got hair on him and not just molded plastic. But, yeah, that Obi-Wan, that's something special. They've just done the Gamora from Guardians. Like, that's photorealistic, not to Zoe Saldana, but to Gamora herself. That is photorealistic. I've got the light armor 4, and I've got the Catwoman in my collection at the moment, and they're pretty much photorealistic too. Like they're not missing much at the moment. They're hitting on all strides.
All right, let's
get away from the expensive stuff.
Let's stick to some Transformers stuff.
Each other to buy some more. Okay, sorry.
Right.
Yeah.
So look,
who wants a $300 figure?
we got just a couple of little things that we need to get through before we finish. So one of the things is feedback. Like we do want some questions from listeners and participants in the club and participants on the Facebook page. So if there's something that you want to hear us talk about, or some burning question that you want answered, let us know. And we actually did get a couple of questions. I think, Brad, you asked for some questions in the Facebook group today. Was that? Yeah. So what do we got? Do we think that third parties have risen to our expectations for Hasbro or Takara toys? And is this a bad thing? I think we've talked about this a little bit this podcast, but I think sometimes yes and sometimes no.
It is very hit and miss. It depends on the third party company and the type of figure. I think that yes, there is some that have pushed Takara and Hasbro to up their game a little bit, and others that they're like just looking back at that Motormaster up there, you know.
That was exactly what I had in mind.
I'm pretty sure there's other companies that Hasbro and Takara don't need to worry about because they're already putting out, you know, decent figures, and especially Takara with their lines, and like their MP line is pretty much premium product anyway, so that's pretty good.
I mean, all things considered, and I'm just going to put my flak jacket on before I say this. I actually really like the alt mode of that Lone Wolf, and I can see how they're trying to appeal to the G1 purists. You know, Motormaster having a cab and trailer and all the rest of it.
We didn't see that.
But, yeah, I mean, apart from everything else, that's just pure fail. I suppose the alt mode's pretty good.
It's just a big. It's just a big box, so that's not that hard to do. I'll stick the photo in the run sheet there.
But you can see how some of the purists may be, you know, Motormaster, G1, whole combiner wars, everything's going, you know, but he's got no trailer, so.
Yeah, no, fair enough. So look, I think the answer is yes and no. Although the question specifically did ask, has it raised our expectations for Hasbro or Takara toys? Maybe it has. I don't know. They seem quite content to stick to their guns on what they do and the amount of detail that they put in their figures. And I think part of the reason for that is that they mass produce the figures at a particular price point, whereas the third party guys are not that restricted.
Yeah, I honestly, and if it's not a bad thing, I don't see it as a bad thing. I see it as just friendly competition in one field. I mean, businesses have got to compete, which is why third party, compete against themselves, really. I mean, they don't try and compete with Takara or Hasbro because, let's face it, Takara and Hasbro could buy their company 5 times out without, raising an eyebrow. But, as it comes down, it's not a bad thing because they all look at what each other says. Oh, maybe we could do this joint a little bit better or a little bit stiffer, that sort of thing. It's good. I like it, but there's definitely some figures where Hasbro and Takara win out. Like that's my view anyway.
Let's move on, shall we?
Well, just before you do, I think Hasbro have sort of brought this on themselves, just from the last. Not AOE, but
for a while. It's been coming for a while.
Yeah, Revenge of the Fallen, Dark of the Moonlight. They put engineering to the top of the table, and some of those figures were exceptional engineering. And then as soon as they started backing off, we're sort of going, well, what's going on here? Takara, can you do better? But
So there's always a collaboration between Hasbro and Takara on toy designs, and I don't know that we necessarily always understand who's responsible for what exactly, especially when it comes to the movie toys. But yeah, I think it's also fair to say that there's an A team and there's a B team within whatever group is designing those toys, and sometimes the figure that you want does not get the A team's attention.
And I also think it's a lot of apples and oranges. Like, I hear a lot of people comparing the new Combiner Wars Devastator coming out with, Green Giant and stuff. But, you got to understand that these are 6 figures for 150, whereas do you know what I mean? Like,
well, you only got to look at Herc. Originally, they were nearly $100 a figure.
Yeah, so you're looking at $600 compared to a figure that, according to Hasbro's own new business mandate, is simplified figures so kids can play with them quicker. Now, the counter argument to that is, well, hang on, which kid's going to afford a figure that's worth $150 in a box set? Well, I say to you, look at Lego. Do you know what I mean? You go to any Kmart or Target or Big W, there's Lego for $200, $300. You go to Toys R Us, you know what I mean?
Star Wars specifically.
Exactly.
Star Wars or the big
like
that's
you buy
your base sets.
Yeah, you buy your kid an Xbox. Do you know what I mean? That's $300-$400 there.
Yeah.
So to say that, you know what I mean? So I think that these third-party companies, and what they're doing is fantastic. Do you know what I mean? Like, I really like some of these figures, like with Green Giant and all, but I just don't understand why people compare Hasbro. I can see why they would do it, but in the same respect, I can't, if that makes sense. Because one's more... I see. You're looking at $500 for a figure, 500 bananas, where you can walk up to Toys R Us and then buy Devastator for $150. So, yeah, I'm kind of a little perplexed by that mentality sometimes. I think we expect, hey, man, look, the third-party companies can do it. Why can't Hasbro at a cheaper price in a box set? So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. All right, look. I think we might continue on. So, look, we might cover some more of the feedback in the next episode, I think, and hopefully some people will have some more questions for us by then. We are going to have a bit of an events section coming up, but I think we might bring that into the next episode as well. Does that bring us to the end of our show?
I believe it does.
Yeah, that's it. We're only halfway through.
Hang on, let me just have my last shot of vodka. Hold on.
Okay.
Oh, that burns. Oh.
All right. Let's bring it to a close.
I was going to say, do we want to mention selling on the group?
I think, yeah, sure. Well, yeah. Look, let's. We haven't really talked about the group that much, so yeah. So we are, of course, talking about the Facebook group for the TCCA.
Yep.
And
I was talking to Scott today, who is in with Premium Collect, and he's starting to sell a few figures. He's not pushing the point to his buyers to leave feedback in the feedback section. There's that.
So what is the purpose of the feedback section on the group? Let's talk about that first, because that's probably a little bit more important for people to know.
Yeah, it was more in when was it? June last year. We had a seller. He had been a member of the group for 6 months, so he was an established active member. He listed to me a set of the Ruination figures, which were the repaints of the 4 Cybertron Bruticus, which I paid $130 for to ship. And he never had those figures. About a week later, he posted a few Masterpiece figures for sale. There was a Grimlock. There was a Soundwave, and maybe an MP10. Again, he never had any of those figures. And by that week's end, the group was out about $600.
Okay.
With those figures didn't exist. And
so what we're doing is we're really trying to get an effort to find trusted buyers on the group by once you buy something from someone and you leave some feedback and you let everyone know that yes, they are someone that you can deal with and that they can be trusted.
Yeah, it's very much like the eBay system or like the trusted buyer system for eBay. It's a good prerogative. I think though what you're saying is one of the buyers is letting, not so much saying, like during the end of purchase, is saying, just leave a bit of feedback. He's like, well, all right, if you want to leave feedback, leave feedback. If not, that's fine. Sort of deal. Is that what you're approaching? Like, maybe sellers shouldn't be forcing or like pushing so much to have feedback put in. Like,
we sort of after we done this last week's episode, and there was some comments put around about sellers on the group, and I'd commented that Premium Select didn't have any feedback, and they didn't have any feedback up until Wednesday of this week, even though, like we discussed last week, how cheap their figures were, and I'd gotten some messages from people saying that they were sort of taking business away from them, etc. Yet again, there's no feedback from them, so I can't see anyone actually buying from them unless they're just not leaving feedback.
I bought Star Saber from them last week on the in episode 0, so I'll let you know how it goes.
Well, I posted that to him last night.
So it is kind of it is a case where, like, if you have bought something from someone, let us know. Post some feedback. Let us know that they're a reputable person to deal with, and the rest of the group can deal with them.
Yeah, true.
Well, absolutely. It just protects the club, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I want it to be a safe buying experience. Especially some of these higher price masterpiece figures, you're going to be putting $200 into it. So I want to make sure that what happened in the previous time with this scammer didn't or doesn't happen again.
Just to clarify, please, Brad. Now, PayPal is the option, or can they do bank deposits?
Premium Collect didn't take PayPal.
No, they don't. No.
Or is that something that's determined, privately via buyer and seller?
I think it's something that's more like when I bought TF Figs from the group. It has been at buyer and seller's discretion in private.
Right.
That when you approach and like you went to conversation about purchasing it in private, one of the things is coming up is like, well, how best do you prefer your transaction?
Yeah.
And they will either be like, look, I only really prefer PayPal. It's more secure for both parties. Hey, you're fine with that. Otherwise, they're like, all right, fine. If you want to do a bank deposit, here's my BSB and account number.
Yeah, true. Because even I'm dealing with this now. There's some members in the group that don't have PayPal.
Yeah.
And it takes about a week or so to set the crap up. So, I'm happy with that to be set up and. It just makes it more secure. Like as Daniel said, it's like if something happens, we can work it out in the group first. If it all goes to crap and worst case scenario, well, you can put in your dispute with PayPal and get your money back. Or
absolutely.
I do think when you're dealing with companies that are selling their own stuff on their own website, feedback in the group might not be as important as it might just be a case of, well, these guys are reputable at least, so someone can point in their direction and say, yes, I bought from them. But so I purchased Premium Collect from their website, and they use Shopify. They have their own sort of third-party back end for running their shopping cart and stuff, and so that transaction really sort of happened outside the group. But if they're coming in and actually advertising their stuff to members in the group, then it's important that members know that they can trust them.
Yeah, and it's like I'm drawing a blank tonight.
It's all right. Look, it's fine. It's feedback. That's the principle of how feedback works. That's also why we ask that when people actually do list items for sale, usually privately on the group, that they actually include a piece of paper in the shot that actually includes their name and the date that the photo was taken, just to prove that they really do have the photos. They have the photos and the figures. That's the more important part.
The product, definitely.
So I think that's pretty simple. That's how our feedback and how our sales work inside the group. It's pretty easy to follow, and yeah, we enjoy people following it, and we like providing the service to people.
It's a wonderful service too.
And there is one outstanding question that Bill brought up when I first tried to do the episode 0 record, which was who would win out of Kirk and Picard?
Locutus Picard or no?
Bill?
Captain Kirk would smash him, bro. We all know that.
I'm not going to even comment on this.
He would
This would lead to another 4.5 hour
He
chat.
would slap his bald little bitch head all over the universe and back.
I think that might be the end of the podcast.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you for listening.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Tell us.
All right.
Tell us how do we all get in touch with everyone if a listener does want to get in touch with you and ask a question?
Rightio. Yep. I'm Brad Ostron Prime on Twitter, and you'll know me on Facebook. And ostronprime@gmail.com is my email address.
Daniel.
I'm just a little guy in the shadows. Actually, the best place is probably to find me in the TCCA, Facebook group. Daniel, you shouldn't be hard to find out. Just look for the young guy, not the old ones.
Look for the young Daniel.
Yes. Dare I say there are 6 Daniels in the membered list. You're the only one that's active.
Exactly.
Excellent.
So just look for the active one.
Yep. Look for the active Daniel.
Other than that, basically, you're just better off finding the TCCA Facebook group and just posting your comments and questions there, actually.
Yep.
Bill.
Yeah, absolutely. Just look for the little H icon or Bill Finger and just shoot me a PM, and we'll go from there.
And if you do want to get in touch with me, you can find me on Twitter at JM77, and I sometimes use Facebook. I don't use Facebook for anything except the TCCA, so y'all should be happy with me for that. Yeah, look, that's it. That's how you get in touch with us all. We'll be back in the next week or so, and we'll keep you up to date with what's happening in the Australian Transformers collectors circles.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
All right.
Thank you all. Good night and take care.
Same to you. Good night.
Thank
Catch
you.
you
Good
later.
evening, all. Thank you for downloading this latest episode of Off the Shelf, the voice of the Transformers Collectors Club Australia. For further information, check out Facebook, where we have our Off the Shelf page, hit like, or even check out the Transformers Collectors Club Facebook group. Any and all feedback is more than welcome. You can send email to transformerscca@gmail.com or head on over to iTunes and leave us a review there. Also, Podbean have a review section where you can rate us, and that way we get out to more people. Till all are one.